Oh my gosh, I am so excited for you. You just downloaded the entire digital version of the book Powerhouse. It is on its way to your inbox right now. Your email is going to be filled with amazing stuff, and I'm so excited for you. If you just have a couple more minutes, I just want to tell you about this incredible offer I'm going to make to you. I care about your success in worship ministry. My name is Ken Jansen. I've been a worship pastor for over 20 years now. I've served at churches across the country, and everything that I've gone through, I want to be able to share with you. And if I can, just for a couple of minutes, let me be real with you. I was called into worship ministry when I was only 18 years old, and I thought I was going to go to school and just become the next Michael W. Smith. God called me to connect with people and connect those people to Him through worship ministry. I didn't know where to start. So I knew right away I needed to know more about what I was going to do so I could be prepared. So I went to school. A quick fast forward, I got my bachelor's degree in vocal performance and a master's degree in choral conducting performance, which I jokingly, I tell people it's a degree in crowd management. Then I went out and I started getting jobs as a worship pastor. And even while I was in school, I was serving as a worship pastor at a part-time position at a small church. And long story short, which I feel like I could talk about this for hours, I experienced a lot of challenges being a worship pastor. If you are struggling with things right now about how to build a team, how to bring together a worship culture, how to transform the worship in your church, how to work with certain personalities, how to please your pastor and other people on staff more, how to please those people in your congregation that never seem to be happy. If you're wanting to know how to do that, I've got an answer for you. You don't have to go to every worship conference in the whole country or in the world. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on tickets and airfare and traveling expenses and food and hotels and a ticket to go to the conference in itself, maybe across the country or the next state away or the next big city. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go to that church all the way in Australia, or if you're in Australia, that one all the way in America or in the UK or somewhere around the world. You don't have to go to a 4-year school like I did, or go to get your graduate degree for another couple years. You don't have to do all of that schooling, okay? I want to give you an answer right now, and this is what it is. Everything that I have learned in my journey through all of my training in school, all of my training serving at several different churches across the country, working with different cultures, working with different size teams, working with different kinds of personality types. Everything that I've learned, I've included in this book and the material I'm going to show you down here below on this page. Okay, I'm super excited about this because this is what God has called me to do, to help people like you. Just some more about my story. I love to serve. I love to please those around me. I would love everyone to love me and be my best friend, but I know that isn't always possible. But that's something that I really desired to do in being a worship pastor. I always wanted to make a way. If there was a vision that the pastor had, or if the church was going in a certain direction, I wanted to make sure that I achieved that goal for the church. And in doing so, I failed a lot. I made a lot of mistakes. I struggled a lot. I had stress. I had pressure on me all the time, whether it was the pastor, whether it was the people in the congregation that are blessed with that blunt ability to tell you what they think. I felt pressure all the time, and I lived overwhelmed with stress. I remember multiple times right before worship service, I would go backstage and throw up, and then wipe my face off, and then go out on the stage and try to lead worship. I had cramps like throughout my body, throughout my heart, my spirit, my mind, just because I knew any time that I was going to go out and perform, I was going to face criticism. I was going to face those people that didn't like it. They wanted something different, and anything that I did wasn't going to achieve that goal. And so I worked hard. I had one experience where somebody, a great guy from a larger church, came and he mentored me for like 2 days. He spoke to my team, he spoke to me, spoke to my pastor and everything, and I relayed to him my entire situation, my circumstance, everything that I was going through, and he was able to understand me. and he encouraged me. He said, wow, Ken, you've got a really tough situation here. And in his position, he didn't really tell me, you need to quit your job, you need to do this, you need to change this. But just having that verification that, yes, you've got some challenges here, Ken. And he encouraged me, maybe look at this, maybe look at that. And it radically changed my mind and my heart and my spirit for where I wanted to go. I wanted somebody to be on my side. And that's what I want to do for you. Through this book, through all of this training course, the different materials that I have, I want to be by your side, helping you plan incredible worship services, because that's what you were hired to do. Or maybe you're a volunteer. That's what people want you to do. They want you to prepare a place for God's presence to come in a worship service. Maybe it's Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, Saturday nights, Wednesday night prayer meeting services. People want to experience God's presence, okay? And in this world of having digital devices in our pocket, we can pull up YouTube videos of churches around the country sharing their worship services, which is a fantastic and wonderful thing until you get compared to those other churches and people start saying, well, why can't you do it this way? Or why can't you do it like this or that? And it's brutal. It can hurt. If you're like me, you're an artist and your emotions are right here. And sometimes people just like to stab on them. And it's really hard to deal with. It's really hard to go about your duties, your responsibilities as a worship leader, as a worship pastor, to work with people that are also kind of, stabbing you in the back or in the face in some instances. Anyway, it's tough being in this position. I want you to know I understand that. I've been through it. At one point in my career, I pretty much had what I would describe as a nervous breakdown. I was doing everything I could for the services. I was planning teams and getting everything together, and I came to a point where the thought of performing one more time in front of this criticism that I was getting, it just crippled me inside. I was shaking. I felt like I was going to cry just at the snap of a finger. I was brittle. I was on the edge of breaking. And that was one of the worst feelings I've ever had in my life. And I went into this long, drawn-out spell where my emotions were just zapped. I used to be the life of the party and the jokester in my family. And at that point, I couldn't laugh anymore. Nothing seemed funny. Everything was just dry. And I was just living in this void of trying to figure out, how in the world can I still serve God? How can I do the things that He's called me to do as a worship pastor, as a worship leader, when all of these people are giving me critique on everything that I do? And it was just really hard. And I dug myself out of it by building routines, building systems, building methods. I became very analytical. Okay, if this doesn't work, what will? And I started tweaking things. And I was looking for this solution. I looked for mentors. I looked for other people that would come alongside me like that one person did for those 2 days, and then he was gone. And I couldn't find anybody that would do that. And it was essentially like, I was called into the ministry, and everyone around me expected me, okay, you've got this calling, this is what you're passionate about, then you should magically know how to do everything. And you should know how to do it how I like it. And the sad part of life is that isn't true. God never gives you just an abundance of knowledge and wisdom. I mean, maybe if you're King Solomon, he could do that, but he didn't do that for me. And so I had to work hard at figuring out rehearsal practices, and everything that happens in a powerful, engaging worship service has to happen in the preparation. You have to build where you're going. You have to prepare to get there. You have to have a vision for where you want to be and how to get there, and then start putting the key features in place. And everything that I learned, everything that I developed, it started to work, and it was amazing. It was just a system that I put into place, and I would prepare, I would set out my weeks, and I would say, okay, this day I'm doing this. This is how I go through my songs. This is how I go through the set list. This is how I check with the other pastors and make sure that all of this is filling in the gaps or fitting in the service that they're also having a vision for doing, because this is a team. If you're working with a pastoral team, a senior pastor, different pastors that come in and do the announcements, or they do a certain portion, or maybe you've got a prayer team, you need to make sure all those elements are going to work together, and it's not just a block here and a block here and nothing really fits together. So anyway, all of that stuff, I would make sure that it all fit in a system, in a plan, and that's what I've developed in the book Powerhouse. And I want to get this in your hands. But in the offer below, what you're also going to get on top of this book, you're going to get a workbook, a digital workbook you can print out. It's going to be in PDF form that'll go through each chapter of the book to make sure that you are absorbing all of this information, everything that I've learned over 20 years of service and worship ministry, through my undergraduate, through my graduate degree, through traveling the country and meeting with different artists. It's all in this book, and I want you to learn it as well. So you're going to get the digital workbook. You're also going to get digital slides that you can show to your whole team. Say you're in a worship service, a rehearsal. Say you're in a rehearsal and you want to show your team, you want to teach them the actual steps. There's a slide presentation I've put together, all of the key elements in the book, and you're just going to be able to follow that along. You can also put it on your iPad, you can put it on your computer, you can put it on your phone and just have it as a handy guide to go through, all right, this step needs to go here. Now in this part of the rehearsal, we need to do this. There's incredible stuff in here, anything from a sound check, which sound checks, I don't know about you, but I've been through sound checks that used to take 45 minutes to an hour just to check each one of the lines and to make sure that people were giving a good amount of gain to the soundboard, that the sound person front of house was talking to this person, and monitors and all that kind of stuff. I go through how to do a sound check that is efficient, and it's going to save you time, and once your team gets the routine of it, it's going to be amazing. That alone is going to be life-changing. I've got my own personal experiences in here. I've got how to set up a stage, how to build a syllabus for your rehearsal. If you're interested in running click tracks, I've got a ton of suggestions and encouragement in there about the pros and cons of click tracks and how I set up click tracks. I started developing and recording my own, and it can be expensive depending on if you follow a bunch of the top worship leaders in the country. What are they doing? I have to buy their exact gear to get their sound or whatever. There's tons of different ways you can do it, and I share a bunch of that stuff in the book. So on top of the book, the workbook to go along through each chapter, you're also going to get the digital slides, and I'm also going to include a YouTube playlist, some of my favorite videos throughout all of my career as being a worship pastor. These are the videos that have really spoken to me. There are different styles of music, different worship teams, different songs. Could be people speaking about worship and what their focus is on. And so I want to share that playlist with you. On top of all this, I've got some extra bonuses down below that are incredible. You are going to get access to a secret Facebook group for only the people that purchase this system, this worship leaders training course. Now, this secret Facebook group has been designed as a collection of people that are looking to get better at worship, that want to increase their skills, that want to have a safe place to be able to speak about their challenges, the things that they are going through, to ask questions about, here's my worship set, or I'm looking to spend a part of the church's budget to get this gear. What would you suggest? Or I don't have the money to do this. What can I do? This Facebook group is going to be there to support you. Just like I always wanted a mentor to walk with me by my side as I'm going through these challenges, you can ask questions, get suggestions and encouragement from the secret Facebook group. And on top of all of that, you are also going to get my 7 power methods to transform the worship in your church in only 7 days. Now, I know this is a huge task, and you may be thinking, there's no way I could do that in 7 days. But guess what? If you follow the practices in these 7 power methods, this program is going to radically transform how you lead worship and how your team gets together. It's just incredible. So click on the link down below, sign up today. I'm excited for you. You don't want to wait another minute. because with each passing minute, you're losing out time that you could have the weekend prepared. And I know you want to get through that stress, you want to get through those challenges. If you adopt this system, if you purchase it and you follow it, you read the book, you follow the workbook, you watch the different YouTube videos, you use the slides for use in your rehearsal, if you use the 7 power methods to transform the worship in your church within only 7 days, it's going to be incredible. I'm excited for you. Check it out, and I can't wait to hear from you soon.